Now, face the mighty bison.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I want to revisit the thing that shocked basically everyone, the whole world, the whole gaming community, the whole FGC, all of Tekken players, all of Street Fighters. We were rocked by a leak that we are still at this very moment debating whether or not it's real or fake. It could 100% be fake or it could be real. Now we're going to talk about why it could be fake and why it could be real in this video, but it's a crazy leak. We all know that Tifa is one of the most requested characters. Even Fortnite people want Tifa as a skin. She is one of the most requested characters, and for those of you who don't know, she is one of the most gooned characters in the world. We have official statistics. Most searched video game character in 2025. This character is loved for many reasons. Now, right under her, Lara Croft, and under her is Chun-Li. If Chun-Li and Tifa teamed up, that would be crazy. And that's what it looked like is going to happen if these leaks are true. Street Fighter had a massive leak. If this is true, they're probably really upset. In a tweet, I said Street Fighter 6 Year 4 DLC leaked and will feature Vega, Hagar, Gouken, and Tifa from Final Fantasy VII. This information comes from the person who previously said Terry, Elena, and Bison were coming to Street Fighter 6. That last sentence is the only reason why anyone cares about this at all. It's because the person who made this claim was right before, about 3 characters. So that is what's given this a whole lot of credibility, and it spells so much bad news for Tekken. Tekken players pushed so hard to make this happen. We even have tweets where Harada said, if you guys want this to happen, convince the developers to do it. The developers of those games, not Tekken, right? And when you think about it from that perspective, I wonder if they just chose not to do it with Tekken. I was talking about this on stream and people were saying, like, what if Tekken isn't big enough? Whether or not you believe that, this whole situation is still pretty crazy. When I made this tweet, I had no clue it would go this far. 1.6 million views, 15,000 likes. That is a lot of eyeballs on this situation, and there's a lot of people who are very invested in this. Some people are absolutely heartbroken. Some people were praying and wishing and hoping it comes true. It spawned a story. Now, before I made my tweet and before I reported on this information was circulating on Twitter and on Reddit for hours. So I kind of seen the thing late and I was just reporting on the whole situation, but I never expected it to go this far. This story that spawned from it says, Street Fighter 6 Year 4 DLC leak features Tifa and returning favorites. An anonymous Reddit leaker with a history of accurate calls shared Street Fighter 6 rumored Year 4 roster. The post has fans split. Some love Tifa martial arts and Vega claw attacks, while purists push for originals like Makoto and Sakura before more guest characters. Now it mentions Maximilian, and this is where we'll take a look at his tweet, because he doesn't believe it. He thinks that this is completely fake, and when he saw a tweet from someone else, he said, yep, heard the same. Recent leak got it backwards too. Tifa is going to be in the Street Fighter movie. So you can see that he's just completely dismissing this whole thing. Now, 2 things that make this tweet seem kind of real. One, when you talk about the character Mike Hagar, one of the leading developers for Street Fighter 6 did confirm previously that he is in fact alive and well. And this conversation kind of sparked because there's a statue honoring him in Street Fighter 6. And usually when that happens, that means someone's passed, but also, it could happen when they're alive, and the developer here confirmed that he is alive. So that means that he could show up in the game, and it also means that he could show up in the game alongside the other characters listed. One thing that I also want to note as well is Rufelmonger has been playing a kind of a big role in all of this. There was a screenshot going around of something that he said referring to the leaks. I'll put that screenshot on the screen now so you guys can see what he said previously. But he was saying in his YouTube video that he'd been heard about these leaks months ago, but he doesn't like to be the one to leak stuff and break the news. He just gets the inside information and then just sits on it and see if it eventually comes true. But since the story broke and others began reporting on it, myself included, he then kind of gave his perspective where he was talking about how he did in fact hear Tifa's name be brought up and also Vega. But the interesting thing is he said that he also heard 2 other characters' name, which was not Mike Hagar and Gouken. He did not say the names of those 2 characters, and he said he will not say it because once again he doesn't want to leak it. But the fact that Tifa and Vega are kind of sticking and it seems to be true is a huge W for Street Fighter and a massive L for Tekken. Tekken players has been pushing so hard to get that character in the game because it would absolutely change everything, and the developers didn't do it. They did Clive instead. Now, there's a huge debate going on about why Tekken did Clive over Tifa. People are saying, was Tifa too expensive for Tekken? With this leak, did Street Fighter get dibs on Tifa, and as a result, we got Clive? Was Tifa off limits for Tekken? And then there's some people who are saying maybe this whole thing is fake. Maybe all of this information is wrong, and Square Enix and the people who make Tifa and the people who have ownership over Tifa isn't going to give her to no one. The character is way too protected. They have a lot of value in that character, and they don't really need to collaborate with anyone. Now, in my opinion, we know Bandai Namco is a far bigger company than Capcom. So if they really wanted Tifa, they could throw a lot of money down. But will they do that for Tekken? Bandai Namco already has this like weird way of marketing their games that is kind of archaic and outdated. And it's because I don't know, they just don't see the value in things. They don't see the value in doing a Marvel collab like they had the opportunity to do during Tekken 7. They don't see the value in doing things like a Fortnite collaboration like all the other major fighting games have done. So it would also make sense that they don't see the value in putting a lot of money down for Tifa, which would then open the door for Capcom to do it. Whichever the case is, if this turns out to be true, it will be without a doubt the biggest drop ball in Tekken history. The developers, they just have to get a better marketing team because this is not looking good. We know they had huge opportunities to do John Wick, Mike Tyson, Marvel characters, and Tifa, and they passed up all of it. Another reason why people feel like this leak might actually be true is because of what Street Fighter, the company, did. A couple of hours after this conversation really got going on Twitter, they made a surprise announcement, what a lot of people are calling a diversion. They went out and said that the Ingrid gameplay trailer is dropping tomorrow. You can see the tweet here where they show it. Throughout the whole entire replies of this, people were saying, oh, the leaks are true. You guys are trying to like divert attention. It could be that this just so happened to synchronize with one another, but it's way more likely that they're trying to pivot the conversation. And if they're trying to do that, is the leak real? Now, I do want to go on this and emphasize once again that this leak could most certainly be fake. The guy was right in the past, but that does not mean that he will be right every single time. And with a character that's this important and with a character that is this beloved, it's important to just keep expectations low because we will see what they have in store in the future. Looking at some of the top responses of the tweet that I made, the first one is Aru, which says, Tekken, please, I'm begging you, fight back. Another one says, nobody who wants Tifa in fighting games actually plays fighting games. That sounds like more of an elitist take, but a lot of people agree with it nonetheless. Another response says, putting Tifa in Street Fighter and not Tekken would be the fumble of the century, but it's Tekken's fault for dropping the ball. I feel like this is something we constantly come back to, and I don't really understand why Tekken keeps doing this. I keep saying it over and over and over again, but whoever is in charge of marketing at Bandai Namco is doing a terrible job. They have control over so many properties, they have so much influence and so much money, and they waste it on garbage. Where are the great collaborations between some of these anime games? Use your leverage in the gaming world to put your characters in other games. I personally think Reina should be in Street Fighter 6. Devil Jin should be in Mortal Kombat. Yoshi, King, Kazuya should be in Fortnite. These things should have been done. They should have been happening, but it's just constant oversights, and this one will quite possibly be one of the biggest oversights ever. Regardless, take this information with a grain of salt, as others have pointed out that Capcom tends to put out fake information as a distraction. Capcom will make an official announcement eventually, and we can see if this info posted by the leaker turns out to be true or not.